So many people get this wrong. Which fairway woods should you be playing? Now, it is a bit of a confusing topic, in all fairness, based around the marketing and what people just generally believe about how their bags should be set up. But today, we're going to help you answer that question because we're taking you through an in-depth dive. We're going to be hitting 3-wood, 5-wood, 7-wood, and 9-wood at 3 different swing speeds. So at 80 mile an hour, 90 mile an hour, and 100 mile an hour, having a deep dive into the data, taking you through all of the ball speed, launch, spin, the peak height, the angle of descent, and the carry of all of those clubs at each of those different swing speeds. And I think a lot of you might be surprised by some of the results that we are about to see, especially at those slower swing speeds. So let us know what you think about that. As always, if you enjoy our content, please do hit that subscribe button. We're trying our best to bring you good, educational, informative, entertaining content. So if you do enjoy our stuff, please smash that subscribe button. If you've got any questions, post them in the comments below. We'd be more than happy to get back to each and every one of you. Right, let's jump into the video.
So in today's test, we're going to try and keep all the variables as neutral as possible. We're going to try and deliver a neutral face with a neutral path and an angle of attack of around 0. We're going to start off in the GT2, 15 degrees. We're going to use the Tensai 1K blue shaft in a regular flex. And we're going to start off with 80 miles an hour. Let's get some data.
That felt pretty good.
Yeah, that looked really good.
Absolutely middled.
Yeah, it's a nice ball.
Not getting more middle than that.
So yeah, you struck that well, mate.
0, 0, 0. Well or perfect?
You're not getting another donut, mate. All these donuts I've been shelling out lately.
That's perfect.
Come on. I'm going to be skinned. Okay, cool. So yeah, I mean, pretty good on the, so we're trying to aim for 80 miles an hour in this test. The moment you're 78.9, so pretty good.
Nice.
Ball speed, 114, efficiency, 144, so really good efficiency. So we're getting the most out of that.
I mean, that's basically driver efficiency, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly that. Exactly that. I mean, you've basically bullseyed the strike 0-0, so fantastic job. And yeah, in terms of the other deliveries, so very neutral path, very neutral face, exactly what we're aiming for in this test. 1 upward angle of attack, we said anywhere between sort of 1 up and 1 down, so trying to keep it around 0.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be tricky swinging at a speed that obviously isn't your own, but you're doing a good job there. And then looking now at the launch and spin, so launching at 13.5, spinning at 2.5. I mean, at this speed, that's pretty low.
It's very low.
Yeah.
I think even at more speed, that spin's still very low, isn't it? That's basically driver spin.
It is, yeah, it is. And obviously, as a result, ball flight's going to be very low, very shallow. So we can see here, descent angle 31.9, peak height 55. So, you know, when you're trying to understand, you know, where the fairway woods are fitting into your bag and your setup, like, you know, unless you're just really trying to get like a really hot running shot off the tee, like it's not particularly versatile. Like this loft at this speed is going to be very one-dimensional. Yeah. You know, and arguably if you hit a pretty decent driver, like, you know, probably just hit your driver. Like, why would you ever really be hitting 3-wood?
Yeah. Well, you say that. I mean, we get this so often where people go, well, I hit my driver same as my 3-wood, or 3-wood same as my driver. So, well, if you look at all the variables there, 144 efficiency, driver, 13.5 launch, 2.5 spin, driver. Yep. And actually, a lot of people at this speed, their driver and 3-wood swing speeds would be very similar, if not the same. So you go, well, you got driver numbers and driver speed, it's a driver. Almost. So a lot of people could almost use a 3-wood as a driver at that speed, in all honesty.
Yeah, so a result of those numbers, you can see the carry is around 174 with a total of 197. Obviously, that's going to be very dependent on ground conditions. So for the purpose of this, 174 carry, like, let's see if moving to more loft, let's go up to a 5-wood, same speed, same delivery. See what happens. Sounded good.
Yeah, no, that again was really good.
Yeah.
0 path, 0 face, 81 swing speed. I think it was fractionally faster, but again, I mean, 1 mile an hour off our target. Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, so great strike there, mate. Really good. Kept the club speed in around that 80 mile an hour mark, which is exactly what we want. Surprising thing there, the efficiency, 144, kept up really, really well.
It's like a driver 5-wood, isn't it?
Yes.
Driver efficiency.
Really, really good. And yeah, everything else in and around that neutral is exactly where we want. Face, path, angle of attack, great. Yeah, cool. I mean, I think the thing that stands out is obviously the launch has come up. and the spin has come up, which is great. I mean, these numbers we said, didn't we, would be close to 3 wood.
That is almost perfect 3 wood, isn't it?
Exactly
really?
that, yeah, sort of like 14 launch, 3 spin. You can see here on the ball flights, definitely a very different ball flight.
Yeah.
Ball speed, a couple of mile an hour quicker with the 5 wood. And to be honest, that's coming mainly from the club head speed difference. I mean, efficiency is the same at 144, but you just swang it a couple of mile an hour quicker. And to be honest, human variance, like, I mean, a lot of people call you a robot, but you're not a robot.
Not quite, not quite.
I mean, there's plenty of variation in people's speeds. What we see in the bay all the time, 1 to 2 miles an hour is pretty common. So
yeah,
you've got that pretty close thing.
It wouldn't even surprise me to see someone swing a 5 wood a little bit quicker than the 3 wood anyway, to be honest. I think they'd be more comfortable with the shaft length and the loft. So
fair enough.
I was trying my best, but you know.
You were trying, mate. You were trying. You're doing well. So yeah, you can immediately see the difference in launch, around half a degree. And then obviously the spin as well, sort of that 500, 550 revs. And that all equates to a little bit more carry, although if we were to say equalize for that speed, it's probably around the same.
Very similar.
I would say, very similar. Like kind of, let's say that was bang on, you'd sort of like 175. But the reality is you're getting the same carry in this case from the 5 wood. But if you look at the difference in the ball flight, the peak heights and the descent angles. So with the 3 wood, we had a peak height of 55 feet. And with the 5 wood, we've got a peak height of 65 feet.
Yeah.
That's considerable. Yeah. If you pair that with the land angle, so the land angle of the 3 wood was 31.9, and the land angle with the 5 wood was 35.9. Yeah. So around almost 4 degrees more and 10 feet higher. Like that's going to look very different on the golf course.
Yeah, I mean, it's still low, isn't it?
Oh, it's still low. It's still low.
Still don't necessarily think that's going to stop on the green, but I think the interesting thing now is if we move into 7 wood, how much different that will be. Because like you rightly say, I think at the same ball speed, that's going to be a very similar carry. Obviously, we are just going to get a little bit more height from a 5 wood.
Yep.
It'll be a nicer flight on course. It'll look like, okay, you got that up in the air a bit more, it stayed in the air a bit more, it'll look better. Like I say, it's easier to hit because it's shorter. A bit easier to hit because we've got a bit more loft. It's going to get a bit more spin, which gives us a bit more protection.
Yep.
And it goes the same distance anyway.
Correct.
So it's no downside, is there?
It's like win, 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 win.
Win. Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, it'd be really interesting moving into the 7 wood to see if we can still maintain that sort of carry number, but maybe even get an even more functional flight and, like I said, really gain some versatility there.
Tell you what, it was pretty good to be fair.
Sounded lovely.
Wow. It's gone the same, isn't it?
Has literally gone the same. That's a really good example. So you've kept that speed in around that 80 mark, which is great. Yeah, now launching at 15.2, so definitely getting that launch up.
Yeah.
Spin again is, I think at this speed, it's always going to be hard to get that spin really high, but I mean, 32, 3,300.
Sounds mad, but I think that was like, it shows a millimetre high on that face. I think that might have been like 3 millimetres high. And I know people watching will go, what are you on about? That's ridiculous. But it does make a bit.
It makes a big difference.
It does make quite a bit of difference to spin. So I think maybe a couple mil lower, that would have been 34, maybe 35 touching. So yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, if we add in the 7 wood now to the 5 wood and the 3 wood, you can see it's a bit of a pattern arising, a little bit more launch from the 7 wood. So again, about a degree, actually 1.2 degrees in that case of that shot. A little bit more spin. Importantly, not a huge amount more carry.
It's nothing, is it? You just wouldn't even notice that on course. I mean,
I don't think so.
All of those, 174, 176, 179, like we just said, if you'd have hit 20 shots with each of those,
yes,
they're going to end up, the averages are going to end up being very, very close. Arguably, like we said, with a 3 wood, most amateurs probably would struggle to strike that a lot more. So that may even dip under the 5 and 7. I think it would.
If we jump over and we look at the peak heights on that last shot. So again, yeah, so peak height now up at around 70 feet. Land angle in and around 38.
Yeah.
You know, compared to where we were with the 3 wood and the 5 wood, it is going to give you a lot more versatility. Yeah. I'm not saying you're going to hit this into a green and stop it on a dime.
No.
But if you're playing long par 3s at your course, if you're playing long par 4s and you're hitting second shots, like you've got so much more chance with the 7 wood over the 3 wood, and you're going to get the same carry. So you know, why would you not?
I mean, like we said, this sort of player type is going to have to be hitting this club probably more than they want. If you're hitting your 3 wood, I don't know, 180, 190, 200, you're probably only driving it 220, 230. So you know, this club probably is quite important if it's a 170 carry.
Yeah,
170,
100%.
carry.
100%.
So you want as much height, as much spin, as much land angle as you can possibly get.
Yes.
Because yes, at the same carry, if you hit that 3-wood in the summer, it's just go. And at least this will have half a chance of stopping quicker and stopping on the green, or at least if you land it a bit shorter, it might not roll all the way through. You know, you're giving yourself a better chance.
100%. So at this speed, loft is your friend. 7 woods, 9 woods.
Wow.
They're worth a try. Shall we?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Shall we?
Let's hit the 9-wood.
Okay, let's do it. Yeah. So we had a 9-wood on the back burner. We were gonna an hour about whether we were gonna hit it, but yeah, let's hit it. Let's just show what it's gonna do.
Yeah.
Wow.
Certainly gone a hell of a lot higher, hasn't it?
that went aerial. That's cool though.
Yeah, very cool.
It's really cool.
And that's pretty much out of the gate. That's a pretty good one, to be honest. That was good speed.
Down to
strike.
good. Oh wow, that's a good strike.
Yeah.
Well done, mate. That's good. So yeah, it's a good one to take a look at. So again, you're keeping that swing speed around about that 80 miles an hour mark. It's exactly what we wanted. Really neutral delivery. Great numbers. And you can see how with that extra loft and that head characteristic and style, we've jumped the launch now to 18.
Yeah.
And we've spanned that at nearly 4.7 with a good strike. So
that's a big difference, isn't it?
Very different ball flight, very, very different ball flight. So if we jump over to the compare page now and add that in, start to see we've lost a little bit of ball speed, which would be expected. But now we've massively gained some launch. So we're at 18, 4.5-ish spin, and we're carrying it now at 163 with a peak height of 82 feet and a descent angle of 43.6. So different, isn't it?
It's a lot better. You talk about that coming into a green. Obviously, it is a club down, but I mean that launch and that spin from this kind of this would be such a good club for that sort of player, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. And if you think about sort of how you're setting up the bag at this speed, I would say that 7-wood is the logical step down from the driver. So you've obviously got your driver.
Yeah.
Then you'd probably have this 7-wood acting as like more your 3-wood.
Yeah.
So based on those numbers, like we were talking about off camera, sort of 15 launch, 3-2 spin. It's good 3-wood.
Very good 3-wood numbers, especially at this speed. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly that. So you've effectively then got your 7-wood playing as your 3-wood. This is now acting really as like a 5-wood, right? So this is going to give you a lot of versatility. This 9-wood, you could definitely hit that into a green.
Yeah.
You know, and from 160. 165, 170, you know, you could probably hit that even into a flag at 175 to 180 if you've got a bit of room at the front of the green. Yeah. So, you know, you're now starting to play, you know, those golf holes with a bit of aggression. You can actually try and take those greens on, you know, with that sort of club.
So we speak about this all the time. People just keep long irons in their bag way too long, especially at like lower swing speeds. And people thinking 4-iron, 5-iron, 6-iron instead of this, like not even like, again, if we hit a 5-iron or something at this speed like that, it would just be like barely off the deck. Yeah. Even a hybrid like this GT1 9-wood, amazing for getting in the air.
It is. So an important point to make is we've delivered these numbers in this test with a really neutral path, neutral face, neutral delivery.
Yeah.
If you're somebody who maybe has quite a lot of draw shape on your shots, it's 5-wood, 3-wood, probably really not a good idea. If you're someone who fades the ball, so you kind of have a tendency to open the face a bit at impact and add some loft, maybe 5-wood, you could get away with it. Maybe that's going to look a bit more like the 7-wood numbers. So again, get fit. That's the main thing to do, right? Go to somebody who knows what they're doing, who can walk you through the data, has the similar technology to be able to capture all of that and get fit.
I think that's always our message, isn't it? And people, when people are at comments and stuff, we're just like, go get fit, go get fit. Because it's so hard for us to actually advise. Like this is just really, it's a bit of a guide just to open people's eyes to get them thinking about, oh, actually, you know, maybe I shouldn't have a 3-wood and a 5-wood and a 7-wood. No, maybe I should just go and get it checked out. Yeah, like go get fitted. And obviously they can advise from there.
Let's step it up to 90 miles an hour and do the same test.
We get a little EP banner, don't we?
I know we do, like a little EP coat. Good girl.
That's the first one.
Mate, we can't use that because I was whispering "good girl" to P, and then it might sound a bit weird.
We're using that.
It might sound a bit weird.
We are absolutely using that, I'm afraid, mate.
Done very, very well there. Strike good. Club head speed in and around that 90 miles an hour. Really good. I mean, you're 0.1 off, but you've done all right.
0.1 off. Redo it.
We'll give you 0.1. Ball speed 130. 145 efficiency, so great efficiency.
I think at slower swing speeds, it's easier to generate more efficiency.
Yes,
I think
you're probably right.
True. But yeah,
you're probably right.
Again, it's not far off driver numbers, is it?
And again, like super neutral delivery though. So yeah, really good job by you, mate. So, and again, at this speed, looking at the more important numbers down at the bottom here in the bottom left-hand corner, launch 12.8, 3,000 spin. So, I mean, even at this speed, that's quite strong.
It's better. It's like getting close to acceptable, but it is still strong.
It is still strong. So carrying that 209 with a total of 225.
Yeah. The carry on that's interesting, isn't it? Basically 210, isn't it? At 90 mile an hour swing speed. We literally just released the driver video. How fast should you hit your driver? If you haven't watched it, go and watch it. It's 220 at 90 mile an hour.
It is 220, yeah, exactly that.
And again, some people will say, well, I swing driver quite a bit faster. Again, at this speed, some people do, some people don't. A lot of people don't really swing driver much faster than 3 would, especially at lower speeds.
Yep.
So yeah, it wouldn't be that far off driver, I don't think.
Yeah, so looking at the ball flight, we've now got a peak height of 77 and a descent angle of 37.6. So again, it is strong, but it's
not terrible, is it?
It's not terrible. It's not terrible. If you were looking for like a second shot off the tee club, yeah, not too bad. Yeah, not too bad. If you're not particularly good driver of the golf ball, you don't have much confidence, you feel like you're a bit more confident with the 3-wood, then yeah, I could see a place for that.
Yeah, definitely.
Could see a place for that.
Yeah.
Cool. So should we do 5-wood at this speed? That sounded really good.
Yeah, that was pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Tiniest fade ever, but I mean, that's, you look at the strike, I mean, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, that strike's really good. Swing speed, again, in and around that 90 miles an hour. I mean, it's really, really good job from you, mate. Efficiency, 1.43. Carry, 199. Total, 215. We probably did expect this to drop down a little bit in yardage.
10 yards is a club, isn't it? But again, it's still probably a lot closer than what some people might think. Because again, I would argue that really most amateurs, if you hit 53 woods and 55 woods at this speed and there was a 10-yard gap best to best, they would probably average out to be extremely similar. It's actually the same as most amateurs 4 and 5 irons. It's the same thing. There might be a 10-yard gap there, but actually after you hit 20 shots with each and you miss hit the 4 iron more, average is the same.
So if we jump over to the compare page, you can start to see now the difference in the ball flights. We lost a little bit of ball speed, about a couple of miles an hour on the 5-wood, which you'd expect to see. So definitely launching it a little bit higher, which is fantastic, 13.6. Spinning it now at 3.8, so about 800 revs up from 3,000, which is where you spun the 3-wood. And again, we're starting to see that sort of, like we were saying, that sort of 6 to 10 yard gap, not unexpected. If you carried on hitting these, we spoke about this a little bit as well at the lower speed. 5-wood's generally going to be an easier club to hit, shorter shaft, a little bit more loft, a little bit more forgiving potentially coming from that loft. Those potentially are going to start to cross over time, but you could argue there's a little bit more in the tank from the 3-wood. Let's move over and maybe hit the 7-wood at this 90 miles an hour and see what happens. That sounded lovely.
Yeah, it's a really good strike.
How are we for speed?
91 on that, which I think was similar to the 5-wood.
That's
1 mile an hour again. I mean,
yeah,
I'll give myself 1 mile an hour.
We'll give you that one. So yeah, club head speed 91, ball speed in around that 130.
Same as a 5-wood, isn't it? Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. Really good neutral delivery. Launching now at 14.8, spinning at just under 4.
Yeah.
With a really, really good strike. Just having a quick look at the ball flight, peaking at 93 feet and descent angle of 43.3.
Getting better, isn't it? I mean, that's 93 feet at this speed from this distance is pretty good still, and 43 is pretty solid, isn't it?
Really good, really good. So if we jump over and have a look at the comparison page, we've now got the 3-wood, the 5-wood and the 7-wood all at 90 miles an hour. So you can see there's a minor difference in ball speed, but we're talking a mile an hour or two. So nothing huge by any means. Just jumping over to the club as well and just showing that. So we are keeping that club head speed basically within a mile an hour. So you're doing a great job there. Launch, we're definitely seeing a progression in launch, 12.8 to 13.6 to 14.8. So slowly launching higher and definitely spinning more as well. Although not a huge difference between the 5 wood and the 7 wood in this case.
No.
Carry wise, we've gone from 209 with a 3 wood, 199 with a 5 wood to 201 with the 7 wood. If you start to look at the differences as well in peak height and land angle, you know, the 3 wood was 77 feet with a land angle of 37.6. So much more of a kind of a lower flighted landing and chasing flight.
Yeah.
The 5 wood came up to 84 feet with a land angle of 41. Okay. And then the 7 wood has come up to 93 feet with a land angle of 43.3.
Yeah.
So, you know, if I'm analyzing these ball flights at this speed, I'm thinking, okay, maybe 3 wood potentially as a second serve off the tee. 5 wood and 7 wood in this test here are basically doing the same thing.
Yeah.
For me personally, if I was looking at those, I'd be saying, okay, well, if we want a bit of versatility in the bag, something we can hit into a green, I'm thinking 7 wood definitely over 5 wood in this case. I think 7 wood here is a really good option.
Yeah.
You know, long par threes, you know, very often now seeing 200-yard par threes on a lot of golf courses, long par 4 second shots.
Yeah.
If you get a really good drive away, second shots into par 5s, like this would be a really functional, versatile club. You could even hit it off the tee, to be honest with you. Nice firm conditions. You're going to get 200 yards off the tee on a short par 4 is lovely.
Yeah.
So really good club.
I mean, like you say, it's just, you just wouldn't have all 3 in the bag, would you? And a lot of people do.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly that. Yeah.
You can see that, yeah, like I completely agree with what you said. You would just go 3 wood, 7 wood. 3 wood off the tee, 7 wood into greens. Like the 5 and the 7 wood carry no different.
Exactly.
I mean, and that slower swing speed, there's no point in having 3, 5, or 7 all in the bag. You pick one, right?
Exactly.
You go 7 wood, 9 wood. Yeah, in this, 100%. I think I've maybe caught the 7 wood a touch out the toe. If I did it, that spin would have come up a couple of hundred revs.
Okay.
But I still think the carry would have been very much similar. Like, if anything, at most a couple yards less. So they're way too close to have both of them in the bag. And I've always said this about fairway woods. It's just 3-degree difference. Same with long irons, isn't it? 3 degrees difference.
Yeah.
For most people, it's going to be way too close.
Yeah. And I think, to be honest, this kind of like 200 carry shot, it's kind of a bit of a golden number, I think, in golf. It's like you need a shot that you're going to carry out there 200 yards. You know, it's very hard to hit that with a long iron at these sorts of speeds. Even hybrids sometimes can be quite hot flighted at these speeds.
Yeah.
Like that 7 wood to me is like, it's almost a bit of a cheat stick. You know, if you've got 200-yard par 3s, second shots into long par 4s, and you're a good enough golfer where you want to be trying to take those on and hit that green and hold it, like, to me, it's like a no-brainer. It's like, why would you not have one in the bag?
You 100% should have a 7 wood. At lower swing speeds, you 100% should have 7 wood, probably 9 wood as well.
Should we hit the 9 wood?
That took me a few more shots, that one. So.
Yeah, he's going to say it's starting to get a bit on in time, but I'd be intrigued to see if that 9 wood, where that potentially would sit against those others, and at this speed, whether it would almost be like, okay, maybe 9 wood isn't really a flight that we would want in the bag. So it'd just be intriguing, I think.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, let's do it. See what, that's very close.
Sounded really good.
Maybe a groove low, but it's pretty damn good.
Yeah, strike's pretty good, mate. Delivery, fantastic, really nice and neutral. Nice angle of attack. Yeah, great. So if we add the 9 wood into the data, we start to see that the ball speed has dropped slightly, which we would expect to see. A little bit more dynamic loft is going to create a little bit less ball speed.
Yeah.
Launch has come up to 17.8 and backspin at 5.5. And if we look at the peak height and the descent angle for that shot was actually 105 feet high and 47.9 descent.
Yeah.
So no struggle stopping that on the green.
No.
That's probably steeper than a lot of people's 7-irons.
At this speed?
At this speed.
Yeah, at this speed it would be, 100%.
Yeah, the comparable speed for their 7-iron, definitely, yes.
So for a 180 carry, if you wanted this coming into greens, if you play it in sunny climates, warm conditions, it's not that windy that often, the greens are very firm. Again, this is a 180 carry club, be perfect. In all fairness, I think I struck that. If you click onto the club data page, I do think I struck that a couple of mil lower in the head. Yeah, look, just a groove lower, right?
Here lower.
If that had been 2 mil higher, I think that spin would have come down a fraction towards that 55 to probably like 51, 52, and that probably would have carried like 183, 184. It probably still is the club underneath the 7 wood, I think. So 180 to 185 carry club. But that ball flight, yeah, I mean, this as an option as a club that just goes sky high and lands super soft is unbelievable.
So let's move on to 100. Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
Oh, missed the fairway.
Pretty much sums up my game, that does, mate. Missing
Yeah.
fairways.
Yeah. No, that's really good. So great attempt to you, mate. 100 miles an hour. We'll give you a mile an hour. No problem at all. Good efficiency.
142, 143 for a 3 was pretty good.
good.
About right, yeah.
Pretty good. Neutral path, neutral delivery. Really great numbers. So launching at 12.5, spinning at 3.6.
That was 5 mil low again. You know, I say this a lot, but that probably, if that would have been 5 mil higher in the face, that probably would have been like 3.3.
Yeah.
So it would have been perfect. Like even that is pretty damn good. I mean, it's 98% in it. You know?
Really, really good. Really, really good. So jumping over to the ball flight, that was 103 feet of peak height with a descent angle of 42.9. So you can really start to see now how speed, club head speed, and then turning into ball speed is getting that peak height and that descent angle up.
It's not a bad ball flight, really, is it? It's
really
again,
not,
like
no.
I said, a couple of mil low, so that added a couple of hundred revs of spin, which makes it climb a little bit more. But yeah, around that 100 peak height, you know, 41, 42 descent would be pretty solid 3-wood numbers.
Yeah. So carry wise, we're getting 231. So we'd expect at this speed to get somewhere around the sort of 230 carry mark. You know, someone swinging 3-wood at this speed is probably going to be swinging driver, maybe low 100s, 102, 103, 104, 105, somewhere in that region.
Yeah.
So they're going to be carrying it like 250, 255. So
Yeah.
it's a nice gapping from a driver speed around that sort of low 100s. So yeah, it's good.
Absolutely, mate. P agrees, don't you? Yeah. Yes, right. So 5-wood. It was hit really well, and it's dead straight. So we're using that one because that's we've hit a lot of shots today.
Yeah,
and that is about as good as I'm going to hit that.
Yeah, that's really good. Swing speed in a really good place. Ball speed, it's not too dissimilar, is it? Really, to the 3-wood.
A little bit less efficiency, but
Couple
again,
of miles an hour.
Yeah, you'd expect a little bit less efficiency. What, 1.43 with the 3-woods, 1.41? Yeah.
Yeah. Really neutral path and delivery. Great job from you, mate. Great strike. Launching now a little bit higher, 13.9. Spinning a fraction more, 3.9.
Yep.
So it's kind of what we'd expect to see. Carrying at 2.24.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the things we'd expect to see.
Yeah, it's pretty good 5-wood numbers, to be fair.
So jumping over to the ball flight. So descent angle, 45. Peak height, 110. So again, now we're getting quite a steep angle of descent, quite a high peak height. Again, with speed is going to bring that. You sort of at this speed, you're not really worrying so much about peak height descent.
No.
Because you're getting a lot of that from the speed and the ball speed. So yeah, so jumping over into the compare page, you start to see the difference now in the ball flights. It's very minute, really, actually. They're probably quite close, probably a little bit closer than maybe some would expect. Ball speed is a couple of miles an hour in it. Launch, definitely launching a little bit higher, definitely spinning a bit more, a couple of hundred revs. But you're talking 231 to 224 carry.
It's not a lot. It's not a lot in it. And I didn't expect there to be. Like, it's less than a club. And again, in fairness, you could probably say that the 3-wood was a couple mil low in the head. So if I'd have not struck it a little bit low in the head, it probably would have brought the spin down to 33. So you might have got 234, 235 out of that. Still only maximum is going to be probably 10 yards in it. Yeah. So again, for me, at this end of the bag where stuff needs to probably be stretched out a little bit more to give correct gapping down into irons, again, they're probably going to be way too close. Yeah, have them both in the bag, right? Say, unless maybe you've got the 3-wood as a backup tee club, so you got it on a little tee, hit up a little bit more on it, you might get a bit more out there.
Agreed.
Then the 5-wood as a, you know, I mean, that you said 110 peak, 45 descent at like a 220, 225 carry, so you've got a very functional flight from a 220 window to land it soft on the green. Again, it's a fantastic option, isn't it?
So should we jump over to 7-wood? Lovely.
Yeah, it was a good strike, to be fair.
Yeah. How's the speed?
99.8.
We'll give you that.
That's pretty damn good.
We'll give you that.
And the strike was not bad either.
So yeah, 99.8, 218 carry.
Yeah.
Very neutral path, very neutral face. So again, launching a little bit higher, which we'd expect, 15.1. Spinning at 4.2. Again, come up a bit in spin, which we'd expect. It's a really good golf shot.
Yeah, and even I did it a fraction more down on that, to be fair, but you know, again, it's kind of like giving us the numbers in comparison to 5-wood that we would pretty much expect.
Expect to see, yes.
Up in that launch bit, up in that spin a bit. But again, carries pretty close, isn't it?
Very close, yeah, very close. So that's 116 peak height and a 46.8 descent angle. So again, like really steep.
Launch it high, drop it, stop it.
Exactly.
That's why every tour pro is playing a 7-wood in.
Exactly. Well,
firm conditions. So.
It's a really good point. You know, they're playing long golf courses. They need to hit high shots into tight pins. They're attacking the par fives.
Yeah.
You know, maybe you could argue for them, like 3-wood, 5-wood, maybe those flights are just a little bit hot on the greens they play. So, you know, they hit long drives. The second shots in are very rarely more than 225, 230, 240 in, even on a long hole.
Yeah.
So yeah, so for them, like that's the perfect flight, isn't it?
7-wood, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Cool. So if we jump over to the compare page and just take a look at how they all compare.
Tell you what we need to compare. My spine from the beginning to now.
So if we add the 7-wood into the data, we can start to see the ball speed has dropped a couple of miles an hour, which is exactly what we'd expect to see. We've seen that throughout the whole test as we've gone up in dynamic loft. And we can also see the launch coming up, 15.1 in this case, spinning around that sort of 4.2 to 4.250 mark, carrying in and around that 218. So if you compare that to the 5-wood at 224, the 3-wood at 231, there are some gaps there, but you could argue again that even having all three of these in the bag potentially is not optimal, right? So I think you've got to start to look at, okay, how do you want to set up your bag? Is that based on the course you play? Is it based on sort of the, you know, the flight that you want to see? Yeah. You know, there's definitely some options here, isn't there? Even at this speed.
To me, I just look at that and go, well, obviously 5-wood's too close to 3-wood.
Yeah.
Again, realistically, if you're looking for a club as a backup tee option, there's going to be a 3-wood. In this setup, I'd go 3-wood, 7-wood.
Yes, me too. Yeah,
absolutely.
That would make a lot of sense, wouldn't it? Yeah, absolutely.
And the gap's probably going to be there as a 7-wood as a 250 to 220 carry in that region, and then a 3-wood that's a 230 to maybe 235 carry club. I mean, even the gaps are a bit at least acceptable.
No, it's good. I think this test has really shown that there's quite a wide variety, even at different speeds of different options at this level. We're not going to hit the 9-wood at this speed because probably going to hit it into orbit.
Yeah, it would go very, very high. Yeah.
So, and at this sort of speed, you've got the speed maybe to be using longer irons and maybe even hybrids as options. So at this speed, 9-wood, unless you had a particularly funky delivery, it's probably not going to be an option.
Yeah.
So really, if we kind of like back up and do a little synopsis, you know, at slower swing speeds, like loft is your friend. Like loft is helping out so much. So ditch the 3-wood, potentially ditch the 5-wood.
Yeah.
Look at the higher lofted 7 and 9-woods.
Yeah.
They're going to probably fit your bag and your gapping a lot better. At 100 miles an hour, you probably have a little bit more option. Yeah. Because actually, it's going to come down maybe a little bit to how you deliver the club. But again, definitely not saying you need all three.
No.
You know, it's going to be, do you want a 5-wood, do you want a 3-wood, do you want a 7-wood? It's all going to be based on the courses you play and the flight that you want to see.
Yeah.
You know, the type of holes you have maybe on your golf course you play. And again, at higher speeds, it's starting to get a lot more interesting. Maybe 3-wood is a really good club. You know, it's a second serve off the tee, very, very long, very powerful club. And then maybe you want something you can hit really high and floaty into those occasions when you need to hit that kind of 230, 240 shot and actually still land it pretty softly.
Yeah, the takeaway for me was I did do this video a very, very, very long time ago, nowhere near to this depth. But the takeaway is the same. It's like they're just way too close. They're so much closer than most people think, especially at slower speeds.
Yeah.
It's sort of like the lower speed, there's virtually no difference really between 3, 5 and 7.
Yes.
And you start to see, as we add speed, you start to see a bit more separation. But again, even at this speed, which is arguably higher than average for sure in a fairway wood, you're still seeing, I mean, max between a 7 and 3 wood's going to be 20 yards. Max, which is like still very close, like closer than people would imagine. So yeah, make sure you get the right club to fit the right gap and the right window, like we said, for what you want to do really.
Yeah, and I think, you know, one of the things when people come into EP for fairway wood fits, I think one of the key questions that we discuss and we ask them and we discuss is what are you really using your fairway woods for? Like if you're predominantly using your fairways as an off the tee club, then we can fit to that. You know, we can look at that delivery, we can optimize to that. If you're someone who's going to be hitting into greens, then we can optimize for that. If you actually want to do both, you want a bit of versatility, we can fit to that. But ultimately, like, you know, you kind of need to have an idea, I think, to some extent, what you want your fairway woods to do. They're that part of the bag where, in my opinion, every club in the bag should have a job. Yeah. And if it doesn't have a job, if you just put a 3-wood in there because you got an extra place for a club and you thought, I'll just throw a 3-wood in there, and it's got no job, to me, that's kind of like a wasted club, really. You're better off just either not having one or having a gap for something else that could have a specific job. So I think we really want clubs at this end of the bag that fit a job, they hit a ball flight you want, maybe you suit it to the courses you play, but you should really be trying to dial that in.
Yeah, and I think it comes back to that old school mentality where a lot of people just go, well, I have a 3-wood. So, well, why do you have a 3-wood?
Drive a 5-wood 3-wood, you know, it's like, why?
Because it's a 3-wood and you need a 3-wood, right? No, not really, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely right.
Yeah, delving into that, asking those questions, you know, having a good discussion with your fitter, I think that's so key. So again, the message as always is you need to get fit.
Absolutely.
You need to understand what it is that you're buying and why you're buying it if you're going to invest in a new club. So hopefully this data today will help you make that decision, and it will certainly give you a bit of information and a bit of data to be able to sort of consume and hopefully understand a little bit more about this end of the bag. So well done, Ross. Great hitting, mate.
Thanks, mate. All right, how far's that green?
So we're going to have a little bit of fun now. So Ross set himself a challenge, and he wants to try, and no donuts on play here, to be honest.
Yeah, this is a 20 donut challenge right here.
So he's going to try and hit the green, which is currently at
293.
it's 274 front edge.
Yeah.
So you got your 3-wood?
I've got the 3-wood, not my 3-wood. I never ever game 3-wood.
I've
got the 3-wood.
It's got the 3-wood from the test. GT2, and he's going to try and knock it on this green. I think we give him 3 tries. If he doesn't do it in 3 tries, I'm going home.
3 goes. Yeah, absolutely. 3 goes. Right.
3 goes.
Trying it a bit of a big slinger.
Okay.
Oh, too much. That's too much of a slinger.
That would have been good if I didn't move the line.
Yeah, that was definitely too much of a slinger.
Should have kept it where it was. Oh, I tell you what, that's dead straight.
I did it too straight. I necked it a bit as well.
Yeah, that one hasn't quite got the juice either, is it?
You might be getting front edge.
Oh, might get front edge.
You'd be getting front edge with that one.
Yeah. I've got one more try, mate. I'm being brutal.
One more try.
Draw. I tell you what, that is... Oh, we've had the shafts go everywhere.
That's so hard. It knocked all the shafts
That's
over.
actually going to be close. Get up! No, don't get up. What am I talking about? Oh, no!
Yes!
No!
Get down there. Look at that.
Oh, mate.
10 feet?
Am I buying the donuts again?
You absolutely are.
Oh,
look at that.
God.
Oh. Yes.
That's a great shot, to be fair, mate. Well done.
290.
And you did do it in 3 tries, and it was on the 3rd try. You were under pressure to hit a good shot there, mate. Fair play.
12 feet from 293. We'll take it. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned a thing or two. And as always, we're just trying to kind of get you thinking a little bit more about your bag setup and push you towards coming to someone like us and get fitted and get it checked out properly, because you don't know until you do that. Today we were using a very neutral delivery, neutral face, neutral path, neutral angle of attack. If you've got a delivery that's massively in to out, massively out to in, like, it will change the characteristics of the ball flight so much. So this is kind of giving you a bit of an idea and maybe just making you think a little bit more about the bag setup. But as always, please do go and get fitted. But as always, thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please smash that subscribe button. We're really trying hard to grow and we need your support to do so. So thank you in advance. And yeah, hopefully you'll stay tuned and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.